Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, has Anthony Davis been the NBA's best player this season? Plus, Reggie Bush explains why the Browns should draft Saquon Barkley with the #1 overall pick. And how will Jerry Jones' feud with Roger Goodell affect the Cowboys? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. The Pelicans won their 6th straight behind a monster performance by Anthony Davis. He had a season-high 53 points with 18 rebounds and 5 blocks. It's the 5th time he scored over 40 this month. Let's take a listen to Davis after his big night.
I think just right now, everybody's playing their part. Everybody's doing it together. I think that's what makes it so special. And then we're doing it without one of our main guys, so it makes it more special, especially when everybody thought we were going to, go down in the standings. We actually moving up and doing it without, another big player on our team.
So, Skip,
yes.
Start with you. What's going on here?
I don't know. Maybe I've finally inspired Anthony Davis to start winning real games instead of fantasy basketball leagues, because he's really good at fantasy basketball, but it's been a shocking and strange phenomenon to me in sports, maybe one of the strangest phenomenons in sports, that Anthony Davis's all-time great stats haven't often translated enough into wins. And what does your restaurant do? Dubs. By the way, his restaurant is called 3 and 5 because it's named after LeBron's finals record, 3 and 5.
Oh,
but
you got
anyway,
jokes, ho?
I don't have jokes.
Yeah,
I just popped into my head. So I have brought this phenomenon up about Anthony Davis many times on the air over really the last 3 years. But we brought it up last Wednesday, if memory serves, because young Mr. Davis had declared that if DeMarcus Cousins had stayed healthy, that he and Anthony Davis would have won the Western Conference and gotten to the finals. And that presupposes a leap that they would have beaten whoever was in their path, maybe San Antonio, Houston, and then Golden State. Okay. I don't know. But that is coming from the mouth of the same Anthony Davis, who has yet to win a single playoff game in his 5 NBA seasons. He's now in his 6th. Not a single playoff game back in the 2015 season. He did make the playoffs, and he ran into the Golden State Warriors before they had really become the Warriors, but they got swept. New Orleans did by that Golden State team as it was on its way to its first finals victory. So we look at these numbers put up, and they are all-time great by Anthony Davis because he is the PER prince. Player efficiency rating. He is averaged 6th overall in the league through his first 5 years. He is currently in his 6th season, number 2 in PER. And back in that 2014-15 season, he won the overall PER for the year. He finished number 1. So, great stats, but a lot of empty calories that I see from Anthony Davis. And I don't really understand this, but that's why I have called him shockingly overrated, the most overrated of all the stars in the NBA, because he doesn't have anything to really show for all of his production numbers-wise. He is the only #1 pick who has been winless in the postseason, the only #1 pick overall in the history of the NBA who's winless in the postseason. And he's of the 41 first overall picks, his .455 winning percentage ranks 33rd. So you say, wow, he's putting up all those numbers, but of all the overall #1 overalls, his winning percentage is 33rd. So let's look at LeBron James. That's a guy you know pretty well, right? Yeah. Through LeBron's first 5 seasons in the NBA, first 5 seasons, he had won 26 playoff games. That's extraordinary. And all you tell me is he didn't have any help in Cleveland, right?
He did.
I'm talking about the first go-around in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Didn't have any help. So Anthony hasn't had a whole lot of help in New Orleans, but as extraordinary as he is statistically, he's won 0. LeBron 26-0 in playoff wins through 5 years. And then if we just look at overall regular season record for LeBron's first 5.5 seasons through the league, which we're going to give him the half for this year, LeBron 67 games above 500. That's pretty extraordinary.
Right.
Anthony is 35 games under 500. So I can't see any wins. I can't see any winning production based on the statistical production. And at the point that Anthony made his declaration that if I had DeMarcus, we would have swept right through the West and gotten to the finals, that they were only 5 games over 500 at that point. They were in the playoffs, but only 5 over 500. And with DeMarcus in the lineup, with Anthony, 2 powerhouses, they were a grand total of 27 and 21, 6 games over 500. So now they've won 6 in a row, but the competition hasn't been sensational. And I'm sorry, I can't put a lot of stock in Phoenix, which has now lost 10 straight games, 15 of its last 16. So you probably should do what you did to Phoenix last night at New Orleans. So my message to Anthony Davis, and again, I like him a lot as a young man because he is a good young man, but I want to see more. Show me more wins, Anthony Davis. And again, maybe you don't have enough help, but if you're that guy, if you're that difference maker, you should be winning a lot more basketball games than you are winning fantasy basketball leagues.
You know what, Skip? It's okay to admit you were wrong, that he's not overrated.
I'm not. I just said exactly why he's way overrated.
He's not over.
Given his stature.
And you keep saying that.
You should admit you're wrong about it.
No.
Well, give me. Right. Wait, how many playoff games has he won, Shannon?
I'm gonna give you.
Well, don't tell me to admit I'm wrong. I want to hear you admit you're wrong.
If you let me talk, I'm gonna make my case.
Well, you just said I was supposed to admit I'm wrong, and I just gave you the whole case why I've been right all along. I want to see more.
Okay. You said Anthony Davis. He has yet to win a playoff game.
Not one.
He played in the first round against the Golden State Warriors. You say that it wasn't the Warriors
Not
as
quite.
we know them.
No, we didn't know them yet.
They were 67 and 15, and they had the MVP in Steph Curry. So we do not know that.
But we didn't know what they were going to be in the postseason at all, and they got a huge break against LeBron, a huge break because no Kevin Love and then no Kyrie in overtime of Game 1, right?
Skip, the thing is with him, 2 things can be true. He can be great and his team not be great. Because you're trying to argue because he's putting up these numbers and they're not winning, it diminishes him. If anything, it heightens him because what he's doing is taking Herculean efforts just in order to beat the Phoenix Suns. It took a 53, 18, and 5 game. There's only one man in NBA history since blocks became an official stat, 73-74, Bob McAdoo, to have a stat line like this. So that just goes to show you just how special a performance this was. I'm not surprised.
Against Phoenix?
Skip, it took that to beat Phoenix.
It did?
Yes. See, here it is. Now he goes 53-18. Oh, it took that to beat Phoenix. Had they lost, you need to see more.
I still need to see more.
He said, I'm going to adopt the Russell Westbrook mentality. If I got to shoot 40 times and score 40, 50, 60, whatever I need to do in order to win. Because nobody saw this from Anthony Davis. We knew coming out, Skip, a lot of people thought he would probably be Alonzo Mourning. He averaged 14, 10, and 4.5 blocks in college.
He did.
So we knew defensively he was fundamentally sound.
Agreed.
We didn't see this.
No, I mean, he was barely the leading scorer on that championship Kentucky team.
And the thing is that now, since he's 28-11, he's 23-10 for a career. So we know he has that kind, but we didn't know this. Kind of like Michael Jordan. Skip.
By the way, do you know who was the second leading scorer on that Kentucky championship team?
Terrence Jones or Kid Gilchrist?
Deron Lamb. Those two were prominent players. But Deron Lamb was barely the second leading scorer on that team, just by a few percentage points below Anthony.
Right.
And he's been playing in Greece. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I agree. I didn't see any of this.
Here's the thing, Skip. And the thing is, when we look at it, we looked at when Boogie went down. Boogie was special because Boogie was 25 and 12. Anthony Davis, and it's almost like they're taking turns. Now he doesn't have Boogie, and everybody, and he said it. He said it. They thought we were going to drop off once we lost a valuable piece of what we had going. He's like, nope, that's not going to happen. He's averaging in a 6-game win streak. Think about this: 41, 15, and 3, and since Boogie injury, 34 and 13.
Great.
Skip, I don't really know what else he can do.
So since that injury, they are 7 and 5.
Right.
They've won 6 in a row, but they were 7 and 5 overall. Okay.
But Skip, you make it seem like it's kind of like he didn't have, like with Russell. Just think, if you think about what Russell Westbrook had, he played with Kevin Durant, he played with James Harden, and some of these other guys, the number 1 overall picks. Magic Johnson did play with Kareem. He did have big game James Worthy. He played with Bob McAdoo. He played with Jamal Wilkes.
I'm comparing him to your guy, LeBron. I'm giving you a silver platter here.
Whoa! I don't need first of all.
LeBron in Cleveland.
Whoa! I need you to pump the brakes.
What happened?
LeBron James is a Mount Rushmore player currently as we speak.
Yeah.
And what we're doing, I sent a construction company up to South Dakota. We about to start chipping away at that face on the right. That's what
the left, you mean?
No, facing out here to he my right now.
Oh, okay.
But if you face it, it's to your left.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So I just want you to know that. But we're talking about Anthony Davis. Skip, we saw a couple of years ago, he had 59 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, he did that against Phoenix. He had 59 and 20 against Andre Drummond.
He's had it against a lot of teams. He's been doing this all along.
He fouled out 3 of their big men last night.
Yeah.
Skip, it's time to give the man some credit.
I'm giving him credit.
No,
he
you're
puts
not.
up incredible stats. Okay. Incredible stats. And they're empty calories. I don't see enough impact, winning impact.
Okay.
I just want to see impact.
But when he wins, you says it's against Phoenix. He scores 53 and 18, it's against Phoenix. It's against bottom feeders. So what is he supposed to do?
No, I said if you look at the 6 games they won in a row, it's okay. They won at Brooklyn. They won at Detroit. Fairly impressive. They beat the Lakers. Beat Miami. At Milwaukee, it's okay. It's a nice win. I will give you
But
that.
if they
and
lose,
then Phoenix.
but if those teams beat them.
And by the way, 3 of those 6 were in overtime, and he had a lot to do with winning those games in overtime. I'm starting to see some growth because I just said, show me more of this.
I'm starting to see him stay healthy. Last year was the first time that he played more than 70 games in a season. He's on pace to play more than 70 games this year. Because remember, Skip, his rookie year, he got hurt. Dame Lillard was rookie of the year because he was hurt. And we've seen these nagging injuries. Hamstring, his foot. So he had these ticky-tack injuries. Now he's staying healthy. It's hard for me to believe that right now he's got to be a top 5, top 6 guy in the NBA.
Okay.
I think those first 2, I think we're pretty clear. LeBron, Durant, you go Durant, LeBron, okay. But Anthony Davis is knocking on the door.
Okay.
And everybody that's in that room, they know he's knocking.
And what does your restaurant sell?
W's and L's.
W's and L's. Okay.
Yeah.
And hot. The classiest part of your menu, the extraordinary, the exclusive part is the playoff dubs, right?
Yeah.
Playoff dubs?
Yeah.
So to this point in LeBron's first 5.5
Right.
years, he had, or just for 5 years, he had 26
He's not
left.
LeBron.
Okay, so what? Does he belong?
Nobody was LeBron.
Oh.
I mean, you got to
so
go.
That's what.
You got to go back to somebody like a Magic Johnson to just start. If you want to put LeBron in the context of #1 overall pick, you got to go back to LeBron. You got to go back to
Okay,
Magic.
but I'm just showing you. LeBron had quote unquote no help in Cleveland. I think he had more than you give him credit for.
No, stop it.
But Anthony has quote unquote no help in New Orleans. 26 playoff wins through 5 years, 0 through 5 years. I just want to see something. Show me a flash.
He's showing you something. It's coming, Skip. See, the thing is, you want this instantaneous. Everybody's not going to be.
He's in his 6th year.
I don't care. So what?
6th year?
Come on. When did Michael Jordan?
He's been putting up these numbers from the start.
When did Michael Jordan start winning?
He was
playoff?
scaring the hell out of everybody. They're calling
now
Jesus
we scared.
in sneakers.
Now we scared. So now it's not good enough to win. We just need to scare you. Because you do remember
I
the
saw a
first round
whole
of the
bunch
playoffs.
of wins. I saw a whole bunch.
In the playoffs?
No, I saw it in the regular season. I saw it night after night after night. I'm not even seeing it in the regular season consistently
If you
from
don't mind,
Anthony.
can you tell the people what Michael Jordan's rookie record was?
Okay.
Wasn't he 30 and 52?
Did you just compare Anthony Davis to Michael Jeffrey Jordan?
No.
Did you? Is that what you want to do?
I'm comparing because what you try to do is that you want to see wins. Michael Jordan wasn't winning no all these playoff games.
Hey, but I don't have it in front of me, but he was way above 500 in wins because they were one of the best teams in the
He was
East.
30 and 52.
Okay. In his rookie year.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that.
And went to the playoffs.
Okay, but I'm going to discount Anthony Davis's rookie year, but then after that, what starts happening? Nothing happens.
Skip, basketball, and I know you like to think that these transcendent players, and Anthony Davis can be one of these, can win championships without help. They cannot. It's never been done.
You obviously need some help.
Okay.
But what I love about the game of basketball is that one guy can change your life.
Yes.
Michael Jordan changed life in Chicago. LeBron James changed life in Cleveland.
He changed life, and they won a lot of games, but they ain't win title until they got old Pip.
Okay, but how about LeBron James.
Well,
At least he got them to a finals.
Will you stop talking about LeBron? LeBron is, hold on.
See, I'm killing him right now, Joy, because it's killing him to have to put LeBron in this context.
LeBron is over here by himself. He's not bothering anyone. He does not want you to bring up his name anymore. Okay, so LeBron's over here. I'm going to leave him alone. We're talking about...
I have First Amendment rights. I can bring up LeBron James anytime I want to.
No, I'm infringing upon your rights. Skip, think about this. Eton Moore. Emeka Okafor started at center last night.
He's back at 35, and he played pretty well last night.
Emeka Okafor was out of the league for how long, Skip? 4 or 5 years?
He had back surgery.
What they got to do with Anthony Davis?
Well, he's back.
And Anthony Davis said, that's what you want me to pull.
Drew Holiday's pretty good, wouldn't you say?
He's up and down. Yeah. Now, he's playing a little better.
I still think Rondo is a factor, man.
But I never know what Rondo I'm going to get.
Well, that's true.
He's so mercurial. He's up and down. He might, like he's Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Isaiah covered the game. He's just like, he's still mad about that, something that happened a month ago. So I don't know what I'm going to get. I just knew when they had Boogie and AD, I know what I'm going to get. I was going to get basically 70 and 25 a night from those two guys.
Okay, and they were 27 and 21. Is that impressive to you?
It's the playoffs.
Yeah, it was barely in the playoffs.
And like you said earlier, they were going to scare the hell out of some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So now what?
Maybe. But he predicted that duo would be dynamic enough to blow right past Houston and Golden State.
I don't believe that. But I believe they could have scared.
By the way, you laughed at that day.
No, I told you.
Am I right?
No, I didn't say. I said they could probably take somebody 5 games, 6 games.
You were in your what was he smoking mode?
Yeah,
right?
it was Mardi Gras. So Mardi Gras going on.
Well, there you
go. A lot of good things happen.
Right.
But now, if you tell me Boogie's healthy, and you told me their third guy's going to be True Holiday, and he's going to consistently give me 20, oh yeah, so Skip, now we got a different ball game. I don't really know what I'm going to get.
You think they would have won the West? Because I don't.
I think they could have made the Western Conference Finals.
Boy, I don't know about that.
Skip, this young man.
I just wasn't seeing enough.
Skip, he's special. 28 and 11.
No, he's a special statistic machine. He's a machine. But this is the beautiful game of basketball. One guy can have contagious basketball charisma. He can walk in and just in leadership intangibles, in rub-off aura on the rest of the group, the whole locker room, everybody says, oh, now we got a shot. Now we got a chance.
Yeah.
And it's like the aircraft carrier just lifts you up out of the water.
Yeah, that's
and all of a sudden, you are invincible because you got that guy.
Yeah.
So far, he hasn't been that guy. Statistically, he's extraordinary.
Everybody else, everyone else of these top guys, they have someone to ride along with them. James Harden now has Chris Paul. Durant joined up with Steph Curry and Clay. Now we got Russ with PG and Melo. You got the Minnesota. So Skip, nobody is doing it alone. We saw how Russ averaged a triple-double. And how many games did he win last year, Skip? He averaged a triple-double.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. You need help along the way in order to ultimately get to where he wants to be. But if you're not impressed by what you're seeing with Anthony Davis, especially
Sure,
the
I'm
last
impressed. I've been impressed for 5 years. I've raved about it. Statistically off the charts, like PER Prince. But it doesn't seem to translate into, people can't stop that guy. Because when they need to stop him in crunch time, in clutch time, he gets stopped too much. His rub-off factor is not high. His leadership qualities, I don't know. When you see him off the floor, he looks smaller than he plays. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look.
He's a thin guy.
Right.
I mean, he had that growth spurt, Skip, because you got to think about it now. He was a guard.
He was a guard.
Then he grows
in high school, he was a guard.
He grows like 6 or 7 inches over the summer.
Yeah.
So he's just now learning how to play big man basketball. No, you don't see this. This is a rarity, Skip.
Yep.
Dirk could shoot the ball at 7 foot, but Dirk couldn't put the ball on the floor like this man can.
Okay.
This man got a mid-range game. He can step out past the three. You foul him. He's going to the free throw line, making 85%. LeBron James called me last night and said, Shay, you see that? I said, what happened, Bron?
He calls you Shay?
Yeah, he said, Shay, you see that? I said, what happened, Bron? He said, Anthony Davis shot 26 free throws in one game. Now, I've gone 4 games and shot 27. That's some bull jive. That is what he said. He said, bleep, but I said bull jive. And I said, you know what, Bron,
Wait,
you're
LeBron
right.
curses?
Yeah, he cursed. He said these mofos out here don't be calling me.
He said that?
Yeah, he said it.
My
I said, Bron, crop. I mean, Bryce and Bronny might be in the
You
background.
might hear from the commissioner on that one.
Skip, that young man right there.
Yeah.
He's knocking on the door of the MVP.
Okay. Is he really?
Oh yeah.
And he's got 0 playoff wins. I'm impressed.
Skip.
Wow.
That'd
be an achievement.
So let me get this right. Unless you have a playoff win, you can't win the MVP?
No, you could win it, I guess. I don't know. I guess it could be done. James Harden is running away with the MVP, and he was extraordinary last night. I got to give it. It's the regular season. Do I trust the post? I do not. James Harden's another guy. He's got to rise and shine. I need to see a whole lot more from James when it really matters. But Anthony hasn't even had games that really matter.
Well, give him some help.
One playoff appearance.
He got some.
5 years? Really?
Stop.
LeBron?
The man. See, I love how.
LeBron?
Now you love LeBron. When you want to try to poo-poo on AD's head, you love LeBron.
No.
And, oh, look what he did.
Well, again, you're putting him statistically in LeBron's class, right? The numbers are LeBron-esque. Am I right?
I mean, Skip, the guy.
Am I right?
He's 28,
Yes.
11, and 2.
There you go.
28.
LeBron, at this point, 26 playoff wins, AD 0.
But LeBron was a different animal. Skip,
Oh,
why
well,
you keep
is he?
doing that? Yes.
Okay, well then how special can
Michael
this be?
Jordan wasn't even LeBron. 5 years into the league.
Please, he was.
5 years into the league.
Then
He
some.
ain't even smell.
Yeah.
He like, what Eastern Conference Finals smell like?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, Bron know what it is because he was in the real finals at 22, 23 years old. Old
And
Bron.
then what happened?
He wasn't in his 30s like somebody else we know before they made it to the finals.
Oh.
You know, somebody else we know had to wait till they like 30.
Oh, you mean the best player in the history of basketball?
Had to wait till he's 30.
Yeah.
What happened at 25, 26, 27,
So are
28?
you going to bring up that you were at the Jordan party for All-Star Weekend? After
I
you said all
was.
that?
I was.
Well, that's your last Jordan
I
party.
saw Tigger have it.
No mercy. Since the Cavs made big moves at the trade deadline, they've gone 4-2, but they were blown out by the Spurs on Sunday. Ty Lue said he made changes to the offense at practice yesterday, and he does not want the rest of the team to defer to LeBron too much. Let's take a listen.
We got to, continue to get better and continue to progress, until we get through April to the playoffs. So our biggest focus is make sure we're getting better each day. I thought today was a good day, a good teaching day. Was able to add some more stuff offensively because, right now with only 2 or 3 practices, we're predictable offensively, and teams are kind of sitting on and taking advantage of that.
Skip, how much pressure is on Ty Lue now?
Right now, Ty Lue sits on the hottest coaching seat in all of sports. Thanks in some part to the man sitting across from me, because he's not going to like Ty Lue come pretty soon here if LeBron's team continues to sink. They need to sink some shots, as you have correctly pointed out. But what just happened? Ty Lue was coaching a team that was dead in the water, and all of a sudden it sprang back to life because of 3 deals made at the trade deadline that saved the season and turned everything completely around. And Isaiah Thomas, who has been demonized and scapegoated by everyone, and correctly so, is now no longer there. So the finger's got to point somewhere, and it feels like it's starting to point at Ty Lue. So what just happened? We saw the new Cavs click sensationally at Boston and click sensationally at Oklahoma City. Then they had to take a week off, and they came home, and they clunked and they clanked at home against a Washington team without John Wall, and then against a Spurs team without Kawhi Leonard and without Manu Ginobili. And just for the record, they were up 12 on the Wall-less Wizards. That was with 5:19 left in the second quarter. And from that point forward, they lost the rest of that game 77-58. That's in the King's Palace. And then Sunday, they lost the fourth quarter in the King's Palace 34-20. 34-20? And again, I don't read my responses on Twitter, but I always like to look at what's trending. And after the game, Jeff Green was trending. And I thought, what's that about? Clicked on Jeff Green just to see what the reaction was. And the fingers were being pointed, and the calls for firing were aimed at Ty Lue for playing Jeff Green much of the fourth quarter and keeping Jeff Green, because they had no other choice, on LaMarcus Aldridge, who torched him and then for a while torched LeBron, because neither is big enough to play LaMarcus Aldridge when he is on with that turnaround jump shot.
Correct.
So all of a sudden, everybody's after Ty Lue, and it dawned on me, Ty Lue's going to be in trouble unless when Kevin Love does come back. He's been a classic scapegoat, too, within that franchise in the confines of the Cavaliers. So he'll come back in, what, a couple more weeks,
Yes.
I'm going to assume? So maybe some fingers will be pointed ultimately back at Kevin Love. I pity him when he comes back. But the point is, in this case, Larry Drew's sitting on that bench. And I have a lot of respect for Larry Drew.
Yeah.
He's an old head. He's old school. He knows how to coach. He coached Milwaukee for a year. He coached Atlanta for 3 seasons. He's been all around the league as an assistant coach. This is his 6th stop as an assistant coach. And he's sitting right there. And I'm not going to be surprised if he gets elevated at some point because somebody's going to have to take the blame if this doesn't suddenly turn back around and click. It might. But those were bad signs in those first 2 home games. And the onus is on a Ty Lue who yesterday had to show he's doing something. So he said, we're too predictable. And he put in some new sets with LeBron, the offense running through LeBron at the elbow, which is a nice thought, but I don't think it's going to change life in Cleveland.
Anytime you have a superstar, you have a LeBron James, you have a Kevin Durant or one of these top flight guys, the expectation is get to and win the final.
I'd say.
I think the pressure is heightened, Skip, for the simple fact that, as you mentioned, all the trades that they made it at the deadline. So now they got a Rodney Hood, they got a George Hill, they bring in a Larry Nance Jr., and it invigorated them. Jordan Clarkson,
Yep.
who's instant offense off the bench.
Yep.
I love him in that role. But what's happened, Skip, is that they were going along real good. They had this break, and now they come back. And right now, there are a team of streaks. When the shots are falling, Skip, it seems like their defense gets elevated. They push up into the guys.
Yep.
Shots stop falling. Now, all of a sudden, they don't play defense. I'm like, hold on. Guys, at least if you're making threes, you give up 2s, you're still ahead by 1.
It actually should be the other way around.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not now when the shots don't fall, they don't
Yep.
play defense. They go from being up 6. All of a sudden, the shots stop falling,
Yep.
and then next thing you know, they're down 10.
Yep.
Because it's like layup, kick wide open 3. And you're like, well, what happened, guys? And it's just that quick. Skip, look, they just need guys to make shots. The 2 losses, Jetty Osman, 3 of 13 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3. Yeah, 0 for 4 from 3.
Yep.
George Hill, 3 for 17, 0 for from 3. J.R. Smith, 7 of 20, 3 of 14. Skip, I mean, they're 16 of 69 from the three-point line.
Okay,
you're not going to win.
I got that, but back to Sunday's game,
Yeah.
did I blame Ty Lue? I didn't have one thought in my head in the fourth quarter for playing the bench because he went with the second unit plus LeBron.
The thing is that, yeah, you have guys that can, Jeff Green can create his own shot. He can slash to the basket, but they got punished on the offensive glass. And that's the thing because they had power in there for a little while, and then they came back with LaMarcus Aldridge. So now they're getting second chance points. So even if you do make them miss the shot, you're unable to secure the rebound because you don't have enough bigs in the game.
Okay, but Ty Lue prioritized, we need to score.
Right.
They wound up with 20 fourth-quarter points. That's pathetic for LeBron and company with all this new firepower.
They did have some great looks,
Yep.
but they just didn't make them. But here's the thing, Skip. It seems like, okay, you get this old roster out of there, and you come in with some new guys. Okay, you're playing good. Guess what? In another 2 weeks, you're going to have to try to get Kevin Love reintegrated. So you're going to have to start the process all over again. And that's what they're up against right now. It seems like they can't get a lineup that's going to stay on the floor for any length of time before someone gets hurt or somebody's coming back that's going to play major minutes, and now you got to find a way to get them back involved.
Most teams would consider this a good problem to have because you have too many good players and you can't find the right combo.
Right.
And the onus will fall on Ty Lue. If the shots don't fall, he's going to fall.
They're going to, no, you'll blame LeBron. I mean, you're blaming Ty Lue right now, but you'll blame LeBron later. But here's the thing,
Well,
Skip.
count me out of the equation. I'm talking about what's going to happen inside that franchise.
Well,
who's the easiest finger to
Oh,
point
the
at?
head coach is always, because
Yeah.
you can get another head coach. You can't get another LeBron. But, Skip, here's the thing, is that these guys, when you had Kyrie, you already knew Bron Kyrie was 1-2, and then Kevin Love was going to probably be the third option. Well, now you don't have Kyrie's been long gone. You have no Kevin Love. Who's your consistent second option? So you need some of these guys to step up and give you high teams on a nightly basis because you never know. We know when Kevin Love comes back, Kevin Love's going to be the second option. So he needs to be the second leading scorer. Right now, we don't have a second option that we can consistently, I keep saying the Cavs can consistently count on.
You can say we, you always do.
No, I don't like saying that. Right now, the Cavs don't have a consistent second option. So now they need hot teams from JR or George Hill or Rodney Hood. They need.
So
Clark,
I'm assuming when you talked to Braun last night, he's already telling you, I don't have enough help.
No, he ain't saying
right?
that. He said we good. He said, I don't care where we at in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because don't nobody want to see him.
No. Well, that's true. In the East, nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see old Black Panther.
Well,
Yeah, he got
so
that.
now he's the Black.
Yeah, hey, wait come playoff time, he get on that vibranium.
Really?
Wait when he get on that vibranium.
A lot of people have wondered if he's been on that vibranium. Well,
Kawhi,
a lot have wondered.
Kawhi got on it. That's why Kawhi was
that's
in
why
New
he's going to
York.
be back in a month?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's why he's going to be back. Yeah. But you know, Braun, hey, watch what we do to the Nets tonight. He going to be out. He'll be out. She'll be out again.
Miss Triple Dub?
I got to watch it. Paparazzi be trying to snap pictures of Braun and Miss Triple Dub. I'll be having to guard him.
Well, tonight he should have a triple dub.
No, you know what, Skip?
And they should win this game by 20 points.
Joy, you know what's going to happen? If he gets a triple dub and he plays 28 minutes, Skip's going to say he should have got a triple dub. But why would he play 28 minutes? He should only play 18.
28?
Yeah.
He'll play 38 minutes. You know it and I know it. How many did he play Sunday?
40.
40.
He needed to.
Yeah.
He's indestructible though. 33-12. What do you have? 33-13 and 9?
But when you're on that vibranium, you got.
No mercy. Hey guys, it's Joy Taylor. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. If you're looking for more Undisputed content, be sure to check us out on YouTube. Just search Undisputed on YouTube and subscribe to see all the best segments, interviews, podcasts, and more. Now let's get back to the show. No mercy. Kawhi Leonard has played just 9 games this season, but ESPN reports he plans to resume working with the team this week, and the hope is he can return by late March. Kawhi spent the last 3 weeks in New York getting medical opinions on his quad injury. This comes less than a week after Greg Popovich said he'd be surprised if Kawhi returns this season. We're joined now by FS1 NBA analyst Steven Jackson, who's a teammate of Kawhi's in San Antonio.
Yep. I need help on this.
Yeah.
I need some wisdom, some insight.
We all do.
Yep.
What's going on here?
Well, me knowing Kawhi, like I said, I spoke to him about a month ago when he had this second injury, second injury. I called him and asked him, was everything good, because it was reports of things not being good in paradise and him not being hurt. It was supposed to be a lie. But I called him, he said he's fine and everything's good in paradise. So that's all I can go by. I'm hearing it from the horse's mouth. Me knowing Kawhi, he wants to be in the talks with KD, LeBron. He wants to be one of the greats, top 5 players. Right. And he approaches the game like it. So for him not to be playing right now is more than what we know.
Right.
Or he's actually hurt. And I just don't see him not playing because of other reasons besides physical reasons, And Pop, Pop won't hold the guy out for his personal reasons. Pop's all about the team. He's all about winning. So I can only think that he's really hurt and they're doing what's best for him. But something's telling me that there's more to the story that we don't know.
Vibranium. That vibranium get you right.
Yep.
Maybe he's just feeling better. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that he heard what Pop said. I bet you a doorknob to a bucket of cow manure that Kawhi Leonard don't even own a TV. He don't hear nothing. He don't hear nothing about what Pop says, Skip. And that guy, his mentality, Skip, he marched to, he does his own thing. He ain't paying no attention to what nobody says, Skip. I'm telling you, his personality, he has the personality that it's implosive. He doesn't say a whole lot. It bottles up. But when it blows, it blows. So he's just going about his business. Hey, I got this little thing. It still bothering me. I know what y'all saying, but I don't feel good. I've never felt that he was like, maybe he's trying to hold them hostage. He wants out or he had a grudge against somebody. I really thought he was hurt. It's hard for me to believe. I don't know him that well, but it's hard for me to believe that he would just, I'm not playing.
That ain't in his character.
No, it doesn't strike me as.
I didn't think it was in his character.
Well, dang, Skip, what you trying to say, Skip? What you trying to say, Skip?
Come on with it, Skip.
Get off your chest.
Something ain't right here.
It ain't.
And I know he went back, I think in part because he was shamed into going back. I believe that. I'm going to say it one more time, and this man knows what of I speak. To me, this is the best organization in sports, especially when it comes to being patient with players' injuries. Knick-knack injuries, no problem.
Right.
Take as much time as you need. Especially when it comes to rehabbing injuries, this team has been at the forefront, the New England Patriots of the NBA, in how to treat injuries. And all of a sudden, it got called out by a Kawhi Leonard, who took biggest issue with how they asked him to rehab what to me was not a traumatic injury. He took a knee in the thigh, and it did hurt, damage somewhat his tendon as it connected to the knee, down by the knee, and it stayed sore. And he did not like how they said to rehab it, whatever, I don't know all the details of what they said, do this, do that, and he said, that hurts. No, that's how we've always done it. Nope, that hurts. And it got so bad that he split, and he went to another surgeon, and he went to another physical therapist, and he defied them, and he said, you don't get it, I'm hurt. And they flat out said, we clear you to play. That's the Spurs saying that. It's not the Sacramento Kings saying it, and you saying, I don't think I trust the management of the Kings. Right. I trust these people. I don't always like Pop. You didn't always like Pop. But I believe in the strength at the top of this franchise. And this is the first star that's ever defied the whole franchise. You had your issues with Coach Popovich, but you respected the organization.
By far.
You just did. Everybody does. No one, the Duncans, Ginobilis, Parkers, nobody ever disrespected the organization. It never came to that.
Right.
And I'm just torn up over this because it's so wrong. And I do believe there was extraordinary pressure on a Kawhi Leonard who'd never had this much expectation pressure put upon his shoulders. That all of a sudden, last year it was like, no Tim Duncan, but it's Kawhi and LaMarcus who, sort of jointly, they'll shoulder the new load with no Tim Duncan. And it came to pass in the playoffs. You could see LaMarcus, he couldn't quite bear up under that burden. And then Kawhi got hurt against Golden State, and the rest is history. And then we come into this year, and I don't know, about half the analysts I read, starting with Chris Broussard here at Fox, picked Kawhi to be the MVP of this league.
Yep.
And I think it was a lot on him. And I think it's hard because he wasn't cut from this cloth. You know him. He came from a tough upbringing, and he never was the guy until all of a sudden he was a late bloomer.
Right.
Nobody saw this. That was the steal of the century in the draft, right?
Always finds
But Skip, you trying
They traded George Hill for Kawhi Leonard effectively for that pick.
Skip,
Really?
you talking about Coach Popovich shamed him into coming back. Did you see his Jack Leg commercial? If he wasn't shamed of that commercial that he made, when he looking like
That's fair.
looking like Show Enough, nothing's gonna shame him.
All right.
I just believe Skip.
Who he look like? Show enough.
Show
Last
enough.
Dragon.
Who's the best? Skip, it's just hard for me to believe that someone of his caliber, his talent. I mean, like you said, he's in the MVP discussion. He finished second last. What did he finish second last year? Third. Finished third. Harden was second. Finished third. Two-time All-NBA, two-time Defensive Player of the Year. That this guy would not be out there if he wasn't hurt. Now, I've had a thigh bruise. Now, I'm telling you what I did. I had a thigh bruise my rookie year in Denver. And I'm trying to make the team, Skip. And you know what they do? You know how them thigh bruises. Dude told me, said, man, what you need to do is sleep with your leg bent. I put a belt around my leg and slept with it bent the whole night. Man, I had a knot so big in my leg. So, and I had to play. I ain't have the luxury of Kawhi. Kawhi can take as much time as he needs. Skip, I had to be out. I'm up there hobbling, and like I'm on one leg. So I know thigh bruise can be painful.
I got it.
And he said, they say this tibulopathy or whatever it is, Skip. They say it's a disease of the tendon. It might be. And maybe he's just feeling better, Skip. What about that?
Maybe.
Had that ever,
I hope so.
You feel bad, and you just wake up one day, Joy, and you feel good. You're like, I feel good today.
For no apparent reason.
A belt around your leg.
Because I couldn't sleep, because I needed to sleep with it bent the whole night. I couldn't hold it there the whole night because, you're going to stretch it out. If the belt...
That's a tough injury to have.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely hard to push off, but to go back to what you touched on, not only the Spurs one of the best organizations, but they're one of the best organizations that care about their players, not just about basketball. And that's why a lot of guys respect Pop, because he's care about you on and off the court. And that's why it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on.
Right.
Because you got the Pop that's a father figure type that really cares about guys, and he might want the best for Kawhi.
Yeah.
Then you have the situation where, okay, I need you on the team, but if we say you healthy and you don't feel healthy, now you bumping heads with Kawhi and coach, and that's something that's never happened. So that's why it's hard to see what's going on, because you don't know if it's Kawhi pulling or you don't know if it's Pop's pulling. And normally you never see the star player and Pop go through the situation. So it's new to everybody.
And when Greg Popovich stood up and made that statement coming out of the All-Star break, he basically said, I'm done with Kawhi. We're going onward and upward. We're moving on without him.
Look at it, Kawhi. That's how Kawhi looked at Pop when he was making that statement. Look at Kawhi looking over there.
He don't show no emotion.
Exactly.
Now. He don't show
so
no
he ain't
emotion.
paying no attention. He don't pay attention to nobody. First of all, if you didn't ask Kawhi for an interview, do you actually think Kawhi would speak?
No.
Who's ever asking for an interview? Like, I don't even know.
But I'm saying, after the game when he plays well,
Yeah.
I mean, Kawhi's up there like, okay,
I heard
played well,
Kenny
but-
Smith say the other night on TNT on Inside the NBA, he said, if I heard Kawhi's voice, just his audio,
Right.
I wouldn't know it was Kawhi
No.
Leonard because I don't even know what he sounds like.
Exactly.
And he talks a lot during the game. You know, he's never mic'd up because he's not the guy that wants to get mic'd up. But he speaks a lot in the game. But he doesn't speak much outside the court.
Okay, so is he Tim Duncan? No, but who is Tim Duncan?
Right.
In intangibles, in leadership.
Tim spoke when he needed to, though.
Oof.
He got in my face when he needed to.
I'm sure he
He
did.
got in my face when he needed to.
Tim Duncan is a 5-time champ.
I got it. But
He's a
that's
10-time first-team All-NBA player.
That's who that young man was stepping into the footsteps of.
No, that's
the
who they wanted him to
footprints of.
skip. That's
Well,
an
I
awful
know.
lot.
It's
That's
a
an awful
lot.
lot.
I got it.
I mean, think about it. First of all, he's never going to be the greatest three ever. That's already occupied. There's a guy currently playing right now that's the greatest three ever.
Check.
It's over and done with.
Greatest three?
Three, small forward. So now he got to try to pass. He got to try to pass
I actually think
Bird.
Michael Jordan played a lot of three.
No, you whatever. You whatever. Huh? All I'm saying is, Skip, is like, look, so the Kawhi is like Jordan Miller, be the best you can be. Be all you can be. But you can't be that.
Yep.
That old 6'8" guy from 250 from Akron, he got that thing on lock, like Jack Rabbit did on Dance Bryant.
Hey,
But what did I tell you at the end of last year? That guy became the best two-way player in basketball because
By far.
LeBron in year 15, he's not worrying a whole lot about the defensive end. Not a whole lot.
We keep on talking about two-way players. We need to put Anthony Davis' name in there.
All right?
Anthony Davis throwing shots out here left and right.
And KD slowly sliding in that position, too.
Paul George.
Okay.
KD blocking a lot of shots.
But
now.
see, Paul doesn't.
Paul always been there.
Yeah, but
Paul
see,
always
Paul
been there.
doesn't score the points. He didn't get the bulk points like the KD can go get you 50. AD, you see him, AD get you 50, and you know Bron.
Okay.
You see Bron out the other night? Yeah. He was up in Memphis. Old Miss Triple Dove, she liked barbecue.
Yeah.
Old Miss Triple Dove had a good old dry rib
So-
tip.
That Memphis rub.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, LeBron could do what this guy does every night. If you need somebody to take the point guard out of the game for the
Kawhi.
other team, he'll take him out. If it's the 3 or the 4, he'll just take him out. If you need somebody to bother LeBron James, he will bother LeBron
You
James.
know what, Skip? I just hope another 9 years, you and I sitting across from each other.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, what happened to Kawhi? You remember that time how you said he used to take the best this and best that? Because when he get to year 15, he ain't going to be sitting in that chair like he is right now. Because you remember with Bron within year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Yep.
he guard everybody all over the court.
Yeah, but 9 years from now, LeBron will be sitting in your chair, and
No,
I'll still
no.
be sitting over here.
No, me and Bron, we going
We're going to have a show,
Me
LeBron and I.
Me and Bron going somewhere, we just go talk about Bron. Hey, man, what's it
Oh,
like
you're
to
just
be
going to go sit on the beach and talk about
Yeah,
LeBron?
we're going to talk about Bron.
With the miles. With the miles.
the more Valletta Wood. I'm like, Bron, what's it like to win six MVPs?
Ooh.
You go on to 12.
LeBron, what's it like to go 3-8 in the NBA Finals?
He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know nothing about that because I was at 3-5 one time, and the next thing I know, I had looked up. I was 6-5. I was 6-5.
How did this happen to you? You're in the Hall of Fame.
What?
You're like some super fan, like.
What happened?
Huh?
Because you be trying to minimize what LeBron has done and what
my
he's
fault.
doing.
It's always my
yes.
fault.
They've been blaming you for a while,
Paul
Skip.
Pierce. You
been
blamed
blaming
Paul
you
Pierce
for a
being
while.
mad on you.
Oh, yeah, Paul
Mad at
Pierce.
You, on sketch.
You, Paul Pierce,
It was my
you made
fault.
me say Paul was in the top 10.
See what I mean?
That's what I said.
See what I'm saying? Stuff you don't
That's
need
what
to
I
know?
said. That's what I told him.
That's what you meant?
He was at one point.
Where?
He
See?
was. Oh, he was.
Steven, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
No mercy. The NFL is reportedly seeking over $2 million from Jerry Jones as a reimbursement for legal fees. This comes after Jerry backed Ezekiel Elliott's suspension appeal last season and threatened legal action over the commissioner's contract extension. League rules say that if an owner brings litigation against the other owners, he must reimburse the league for legal fees. So, Shannon, how will this affect Jerry going forward?
I don't think it's going to affect him too much. Jerry's going to be Jerry. Jerry's a very competitive man. All these owners are competitive. While they don't compete on the field, you don't get to be billionaires without being competitive. And Jerry doesn't like taking this very public L. And I don't have a problem with the NFL owners. See, Skip, they don't want another Al Davis situation. You know, Al Davis, if former commissioner, who was the former commissioner? Pete Rozelle. At every turn, I want to go to L.A. No, Al, you can't go. I'm suing. Well, I want to go to Oakland. No, Al, you can't go. Well, I'm suing. It just seems like every other year. And they don't want another one of these situations. Skip, this was a frivolous lawsuit. This had nothing to do about no contract. This had to do with Jerry being upset that Commissioner Goodell suspended Ezekiel Elliott because in May, he signed off on to give the contract extension to the commissioner. In August, he again signed off on it. It wasn't until Zeke was suspended that all of a sudden, we need to pump the brake. We need to slow this train down. And the other owner said, wait a minute, Jerry. Now, we've heard you on numerous occasions say, let's do what's best for the league and bite the bullet and take one for the team. Now, all of a sudden, you want to go it alone. So we want this money that we had to put up and snuff out this frivolous litigation. We want you to recompensate us. And they let him know, Jerry, you do own the Cowboys. They are the most popular team. But you're not powerful than 31 of us. So if you want to try to go this alone, now, I believe this have a little damper on the Commissioner Goodell and Jerry's relationship, a la Mr. Kraft and Commissioner Goodell. It took 2 years for this thing to fall, and when they raised the banner a couple of years, last year, Commissioner showed up to that Thursday night game. Everything was back to normal, and I believe this will probably a little bit, a little frost between Commissioner Goodell and Jerry Jones. But Skip, I don't have a problem with this. The other owners are correct. We don't want you, Jerry, stepping outside of the scope because at the end of the day, Skip, now normally they're united. I mean, hey, they might do some bickering in a closed setting. It never gets out, but they normally put on a united front. Jerry was very, very vocal, very, very public with this. He's not going to like this very, very public L because, Jerry, Jerry got deep pockets. Jerry's trying to overthrow may be that as it may. The commissioner has a very tough job. They understand. The commissioner is the spokesman for the 32 owners. That's what he really is, Skip. He's the spokesman. He's saying what the owners want him to say. Commissioner Goodell, that's fine. They want to make it about Jerry. No, the other 31 owners say, Jerry, we want our money back because we had to put this money up to snuff out this frivolous litigation that you're about to drag us through. So pay us back and let's get on, like they say, let's get back to business as usual.
So, I agree with everything you just said, except one point that I'll get to in just a moment. But I'm going to go bigger picture. And I'm going to talk about the Jerry I really got to know through 3 books I wrote on the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry Jones was a huge part of all 3 books. And in the middle book, to your first point, I had a whole chapter about how Jerry sought the early on counsel of one Al Davis. That was his godfather in the league. That was the guy he invited the Raiders to come to. They were in Austin, Texas, in their camp at that point at St. Edward's University, and he talked Al into bringing the Raiders there for, it was 3 big days of practice, but they stayed there for like 5 days so that Jerry could have dinner every night with Al Davis. Everything Jerry knows about owning and operating an NFL franchise, he learned from that man, Al Davis. Another man I knew very well. God rest his soul. Now back to Jerry Jones. Just because he took the L, I don't think Jerry cares at all because he is still the center of NFL attention. We are talking today about Jerry Jones, and somewhere, I assume in Dallas, Texas, I don't know where, he's everywhere. He is grinning ear to ear because he believes in the oldest bromide in not only sports but in business that any publicity is good publicity. That's what Jerry believes with all his heart and soul. That for him, it's all about selling tickets, attracting and creating huge TV ratings. It's about buzz and box office and star power. And right now, Jerry Jones is the most famous owner in sports.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
Yeah.
even close. I
Yeah.
can't even think of anybody who's even in. Mark
No.
Cuban might be kind of in the ballpark, but
No.
it's Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah, he was like George Steinbrenner and rest his soul skipping
Yeah.
baseball.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of teams, but everybody knew who the Yankees owner was.
So, all Jerry cares about is that he still owns and operates America's team,
Yeah.
which has really become Jerry Jones's team because he's still the biggest star on his team.
That is correct.
Right?
Correct.
Zeke, Dak, Dez. Nope, it's Jerry.
Nope.
And we are talking about the Hall of Famer, Jerry Jones.
Yep.
And last year, even in a down year for the Dallas Cowboys, no Zeke for 6 games. No Sean Lee, but I won't get into that for 6 games. But you realize they had 2 of the top 3 rated games during the regular season last year. They had 4 of the top 6 games in the regular season. And if you want to go back to 2016, at the end of the year, that divisional playoff game was the most watched divisional playoff game, Aaron Rodgers at Jerry World, in NFL history. They just work because they're the Cowboys. But more important, they're Jerry's team. And I don't love that about Jerry because his priority has always been box office even more than it's been winning.
Right.
Entertain them. Winning is secondary. If it happens, fine.
Right.
If it doesn't, fine. So as long as Jerry had Jimmy to sort of balance him out a little bit, those two together, and they
Right.
both had a lot of input, and then they fought in the end and divided over credit, split
Right.
over credit.
Yes.
But their Lennon-McCartney that they had going on, it created the strongest roster in the National Football League. And even without Jimmy in the final 2 years, they should have won both those years. They lost in the championship game the first year, and then they beat Pittsburgh in the
Skip,
Super Bowl.
It's easy for Jerry to think like that because every year he generates more revenue than any other owner. Even if he doesn't win. So think about that. So what's the incentive? If I don't win, I'm still going to be $300+ million in revenue. If I do win, I'm $300+ million. So
Right.
there's really no benefit for him. You know,
Right.
Mr. Kraft looks at it like, hey, I'm trying to stack these Lombardis, blah, blah, blah. Jerry's like, no, y'all talk about me. If I stack, y'all going to talk about me whether I stack Lombardis or not.
Yep.
So what's the drawback from him doing it his way? We keep saying, Jerry, step back. But what's the drawback of it?
Bullseye, which is why, and this is my issue as a Cowboy fan with Jerry, he cares a little bit more about self-promotion, about Jerry promotion, than he does about Lombardi's. He's got 3.
Yeah.
So he's okay. Is he still driven to win? Sure he is.
Sure.
Is he more driven to promote Jerry? I would say.
He's more driven to be at the front and control everything because
Yeah.
if he wasn't, he would have hired a coach that he wouldn't be able to control like he can control Jerry Jones and everybody else other than Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. That's what he would do
Yep.
in order to win. But then if that were to happen, he would receive less of the credit. See, Skip, he wants to win, but I need the lion's share of the credit. Mm-hmm. Mr. Kraft, he's like, I'm cutting these checks. Guess what? All I know is that at the end of the Super Bowl, if they hand that trophy to me,
Yep.
I win.
That's correct.
Now, Tom Brady and Coach Belichick, whoever you want to give the credit to, I'll let y'all debate that.
That is
But
correct.
I'm the first person to touch Lombardi.
Yeah.
That's not how Jerry views it.
No.
Jerry wants to touch Lombardi, but who picked these players? Who picked this coach? Who said who's going to play? That's how Jerry looks at it, Skip, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to have the success doing it that way. But he doesn't care, Skip, because guess what? Stadium's still sold out.
It is.
Sponsors are lining up to be a
Yep.
part of the Dallas Cowboys.
And Jerry Jones is still the happiest man in the world because he gets to run an NFL franchise.
Yes.
And he gets to rub elbows with the various Dez Bryants of the world. And it means the world to Jerry that Dez is, quote unquote, like a son to him.
Yes.
So he values that above having to make the hard decision. Maybe we should cut bait with that guy. There's no Belichick in him, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no, I'm going to keep an arm's length so I can whack. You know,
Because for the most part, Skip, think about it. Emmett and Michael and Troy, who was their presenter? So that tells you what they think of that man.
Yep. Okay.
And I get it. I mean, he's hard not to like. If you were around him for like 10 seconds, Skip,
Totally agree.
it's hard not to like him.
You'll be overwhelmed.
'Cause
You'll be won over.
He will, because
Yep.
he's talking to you like he's known you for. He's like a magic. He's talking to you like he's known you for 20 years.
That's correct.
Oh, would you like something, this and that?
Yep.
But Jerry, these other owners, I get it. They like, yeah, Jerry, you got the Cowboys. You were the front and center. But don't ever think now you're more powerful than the other 31. Because we have to remind you. Because remember, Skip, when they was going through this, Mr. Blank said, I'll tell you what, Jerry, we're not taking no more of your calls, any more of your calls, and don't come by. We're going to do this alone because this is the way we do it. You got your committee, we got our committee, and this is what we're going to do. So they wanted to put their foot down because, Jerry started to feel like he was wheeling and dealing. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's okay. We're going to put a stop to this.
So
now we want our $2 million back, too.
I'm with you on that. Where you and I part ways is over Ezekiel Elliott and the case that I thought Jerry and Zeke had against the NFL.
Oh.
I admire Jerry for going to battle over this and continuing to fight over this because I believe Zeke had a good, strong case. That's what I thought.
Skip, I told you from the beginning. Once the police dropped this, I said if he were to suspend me, I'm going all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm fighting it because 2 jurisdictions said nothing, no. And then we got somebody that's not their expertise saying yes. Oh, I have no problem with Zeke fighting it all the way to the end. And I commend Jerry for supporting him.
He did.
But what Jerry, you and I part ways with Jerry. Jerry made it personal, Skip.
He did.
This was about if Commissioner Goodell had not suspended Zeke. There's no way this litigation would have ever happened. So that's what.
No.
I ain't got no problem with Zeke fighting it. If I'm Zeke, I'm still fighting it.
And yet it got a little ugly.
It did.
And it was a bad look for the league.
It was.
And Jerry was in the wrong that way.
Yes.
While he'd been in the right to support his running back.
Just like Mr. Kraft. He's going to support Tom Brady. But what did he do? Jerry told Mr. Kraft, hey, you got a big boy. You got to do what's best for the team.
Oh, it's a little different when it's
so now when the man came knock on your door.
We hadn't talked about that in a while. It's a nice reminder of what a disaster that was.
You solicitors doesn't bother me until they knock on my door. What the hell y'all here? Y'all know I don't.
All I know is we're still talking about Jerry Jones, and Jerry loves it.
And we ain't talking about. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Let's put that fly, Eagles, fly.
Nobody remembers that.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. That came and went.
On my computer, have you looked it up? Tom vs. Time, episode 6.
It's not up yet.
Skip.
No mercy. Penn State running back Saquon Barkley is considered by many to be the best prospect in the NFL draft. USA Today's Jarrett Bell wrote that the Browns could regret it if they don't take Barkley with the first overall pick. He'll be arriving at the NFL Combine today and said he wants to be one of the best ever. The last time a running back was taken with one of the top 2 picks was Reggie Bush back in 2006. We're joined by Reggie Bush.
Speaking of.
How convenient.
And by the way, this is one guy you can't outrun still.
No, I can't outrun Reggie. Okay. But I get Jason Witten. I get Eric Dickerson.
I don't know about Eric.
All the tight ends.
Yeah, all the tight ends. Oh, Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
I got them. Got them in the bag.
Yeah, well.
Should the Browns take Barkley with the first pick?
Oh, man.
It's a tough one, man.
Should they? They should because they need a game breaker. They need a guy who can go out there and break the game open for them. But I don't want them to just because they need so many pieces, starting with the coaching staff. they need a lot.
They can't get that in the draft.
No, they can't get coaching staff in the draft, right? But listen, we could talk all day about his stats, about the numbers week in and week out. The one thing that I love about him is that he's a gym rat. He's humble. He is definitely a guy that you want. When you talk about a franchise player, he is that. He embodies all of that. So should they take him? They should take him. But I want to see him go to the Giants.
No, I'm not taking Skip. They can't. They can't pass a quarterback. They got to get a quarterback. And I'm saying this. I'm taking this. They're not going to be in the Kirk Cousins running. So I'm just looking at you got to get a quarterback. Look at the running backs. Look at what the Eagles were able to do. Look at what Tom Brady has been able to do year after year with guys that are not household names. You get that guy that touches the ball, he in the center, on every single play. You get that guy, he changes your life. It's these running backs, Zeke and the guy in Pittsburgh,
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon. Skip, they got great numbers. But without that quarterback, Skip, Deshaun Kaiser is not your guy. 11 touchdowns, 22 INTs. You can't pay. Now, if you looking at all these guys, you're like, you know what? One of these guys gonna be there at 4. If you believe that, okay, fine. But if you like one of these guys more than the other, don't run the risk of thinking he will be there when you pick at 4.
But is that DeShone Kizer's fault, or is that a coaching staff issue? Because when you look at Jared Goff the year before, right, everybody was calling him a bust.
Right.
And then you bring in the coaching staff, and now all of a sudden he's all world, and he's in the run for MVP and all these things. So is that more on DeShone Kizer, or is that more on coaching staff putting in the game plan and surrounding him with the right pieces so that he can be a good quarterback?
Well, they're going to get a full year of Josh Gordon. I like Hugh Jackson as an offensive mind. I think he's as good as an offensive mind that we have.
So show me.
So we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Reggie, you down on Hugh Jackson?
I'm not down on Hugh Jackson, but I say they won one game in 2 years. So I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that as players we respect are wins, right? So if you're not winning, I love him as a coach. I've always been high on Hugh Jackson, but they're not getting the job done over there.
Right.
And I don't think it's so much on DeShone Kizer, but I think they have to do a better job at surrounding him with the pieces. Now, maybe Saquon Barkley is one of those pieces.
Okay.
I remain a big believer in Hugh Jackson. I was not a believer, and said so sitting right here in this seat, in DeShone Kizer. But I did say before the draft, so I'm not being a hypocrite, this is in 2020 hindsight, I said, you better take Deshaun Watson first overall, or you will forever regret it.
Yep.
Game over. Now you're faced with 3 or 4 quarterback possibilities, and I don't love any of them. I'm not completely sold. I can tell you why all 4 of the top quarterbacks might fail. So I have my reservations. I used to, for about 3 or 4 games, your USC guy, Sam Darnold, I loved him. And then he started turning the ball over. And then he turned it over some more, and then he turned it a whole lot more. And I'm starting to say, is it Jameis all over again? Because Jameis turned it over way too much in college, and he's still turning it over in pro football, and he can't get it out of his system. It's just, he was born to take crazy chances, and he takes too many. So back to Saquon. The question I ask you, Reggie Bush, is he Ezekiel Elliott? Because Zeke, to your point, all year long, is a difference maker in pro football, and he was from game number 1.
Yes.
He changed life in Dallas. And again, I didn't even think they were going to take, they sort of, because they had Darren McFadden, and I thought, wow, you just strengthen your strength. Well, he just took it up a whole level above Darren McFadden.
Right.
And in this case, Saquon Barkley, I watched him a lot last year, and sometimes I loved him, and sometimes I was saying, what just happened? Because there are a bunch of games in here that are just blah games. They're average games.
Ohio State game.
It was
he
just
didn't play
blah.
his best
He just didn't show. I don't know what happened, but he didn't show up in that game.
And you really
now, he showed up on the opening kickoff because he returned it all the way for a touchdown. And then after that, I didn't see him anymore.
But you really want him to show up in games, especially those big games.
Okay.
Like I'm looking at Ohio State, Michigan. I'm going to see what you're going to do.
Okay.
Because I know what's on the table for those games. So I need you to rise and shine.
So Zeke's last game at Ohio State against Michigan, he went for 214. And that year before, when they went on the championship run, Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin, he goes for 220. And then against St. Nick's defense, Alabama, in the semifinal, he goes for 230. And then against Oregon in the championship game, he goes for 246. These are extraordinary numbers against really good football teams. And that's when you sit back and say, okay,
Real deal.
That's it.
Well, to answer your question, you said, is he Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah.
I think he can be, but you have to remember Ezekiel Elliott had that offensive line
Okay.
in Dallas that helped him to be Ezekiel Elliott that we've come to love and know as a Dallas Cowboy. So is that a fair comparison if he goes to Cleveland Brown? I don't think so. No. I mean, I don't think he's going to have that same offensive line with the quarterback, and you got Des Bryant.
They don't
you
know
got
what Joe
Jason
Thomas is
Witten.
gonna do.
You got all these pieces in Dallas that he's not going to have if he goes to Cleveland. So he's going to have. It's going to be a huge culture.
Trade it. Trade the pick.
I don't know. I love Saquon. Watch what happens when he goes to the combine.
Yeah.
He's going to test.
Oh, they're going to love him.
They're
He's
going to
gonna
love
test
him.
out this world. They're
Because
gonna
I
love
think
him.
he can fly. I
Yeah,
think
well,
he'll run
100%.
4.3.
Well, he's training down there with Tom Shaw.
Yeah.
And,
What'd you run? What was your
4.3.
3. So he's going to be in your
He's
ballpark.
going to be in that for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And at 230 pounds,
230. What'd you weigh coming out?
I was 205,
205.
208.
Okay.
But see,
On
for me,
a good day.
On a good day.
but you know what, Skip? For me, I look at running back speed like quarterback's arm.
Yep.
I don't care if a quarterback has a big arm. Is he accurate? Can he process information fast? That's what I need to know. Can he do those two things? I'm good. Running back, can he make people miss? Alvin Kamara ran 4.56 and like 2.14.
4.56.
But you can't touch him in the phone.
No.
Catch him.
And that's what you need. Oh, he can run. First of all, how often is a running back, Skip, going to break a 70-yard run?
Right, not all.
As often as a quarterback's going to throw a 70-yard bomb.
Right. Well, back to Emmitt Smith and my Dallas Cowboys, he ran 4.6 at the combine. 4.6, which is why he plummeted in the first round of the draft. I swear, I saw just about every play he ran as a Cowboy, and he never got caught from behind. And he would break them away. He could go 40 or 50.
Right.
And he'd be looking back at somebody. Now, again, did he have Reggie? He didn't have Reggie Bush speed.
I'm looking at, in the hall, there ain't a whole lot of 4.3 guys in the hall at running back, Skip.
Not at all. Not at all.
We got Emmett, we got Thurman, we got Marcus Allen, Jim Brown. I mean, Jim probably was back then at any time.
And the point is?
You don't need all that speed at running back.
Yeah, you don't have to have it. I agree with
Look
you.
at old Shea, you know.
I mean, that's not going to be the difference maker in why he's successful or not.
No.
Is if he can break away from somebody. Because we clearly have seen that he can break away. We've seen that he has that. So the difference maker is going to be his ability to be able to read the offensive line, read the defenses, the coverages, like you said, be able to break down a play in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. By the way, John Wooten was a scout for the Cowboys and timed him at his pro day at 4.8. 4.8? That's like quarterback
where you at? In that hall, ain't you?
Isn't that like Tom Brady's speed?
All I know is you look at all them film, ain't nobody catching O'Shea.
Ever.
I run them all.
I like that little tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
His feet weren't going that fast.
Yeah, they're running that fast. Joy, you saw like, oh, they like, Skip,
So,
you need to be that fast.
back to Reggie Bush. So once upon a time, New Orleans said, okay, second pick overall, we're going to take this, but we don't need him to just run and crash between the tackles every day. It's a little bit of a luxury pick, and it turned out that you did go on and help them win.
And I was going to a similar situation to an
Yep.
organization where they hadn't won in forever. They had just gone through Hurricane Katrina. So we had a lot of unknown, just like the Cleveland Browns had a lot of unknown as well. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and then that goes on to be history. So, you know, there can be something there if Hugh Jackson plays this the right way. But listen, I just hope that they do a good job at surrounding more pieces on that offense, because they need a lot more than Josh Gordon and obviously Deshaun Kaiser.
If I were more sold on Sam Darnold, I think I would close my eyes and take him, and I may end up deciding that before the draft. But I've just seen enough that I don't see game after game dominance from this kid.
The turnovers scare you, because normally whatever the quarterback, whatever bad habits he has, he brings those with him to the league.
Yeah. You can't have Deshaun Kaiser and the starting quarterback turn the ball over.
No,
that's a bad
combination. But like I said, they got the first and the fourth pick. Skip, if you're sold on a quarterback,
you have to take
it
first.
You got to take it.
Because you can't say, oh, we'll take what's left at 4 for quarter and let them make your choice for you. I promise you'll lose on that.
Exactly. And remember, you said they passed on Deshaun Watson. They also traded a pick that was Carson Wentz.
Yeah, you know, I don't really need to throw shade at the Browns, but if we know anything about the Browns drafts, I don't have a lot of hope.
You think they're going to take a punter or a kicker?
I don't know what they're going to do.
Come on, Hugh, get it right. Hugh, get it right, Hugh.
Come on, Hugh.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.